Mark Rogers TV knocking out positional unit breakdowns across the ACC. We stopped in Pitt with the Pitt Panthers and Jim Hammett, Cardiac Hill. Jim, we always appreciate the breakdown. Thanks for jumping on board. We've knocked out the offense. We're looking at the defense. So this is Pat Narduzzi's turf. Let's look at that defensive line. And the huge news of the offseason, especially for this unit, is Ejuan Price is back. 19.5 tackles for loss, 11.5 sacks. That's just mind-blowing.
Yeah, Price had a big year in 2015. He actually had a 5-sack game against Louisville. It was he just really racked up the numbers. Again, it's one of those things where he had a big year, but you look 11.5 sacks and half of them came in one game. So he's a productive player. He makes things happen, but you'd like to see it spaced out a little bit more. But there's going to be a little bit more help on the defensive line this year, and that should help him out.
Yeah, so however you want to attack this in regards to ends and interior guys, what do we have coming back?
Well, looking at defensive end, the big news is Dwayne Hendricks' eligibility. He's a 4-star transfer from Tennessee, played a little bit for the Volunteers, but, he's gotten rave reviews from a lot of people that have watched practices. The coaches are expecting big things from him. So he's going to start opposite of Price. So that's going to be their starting defensive end pairing, and they're very excited about that. Pitt thinks they can really get after the quarterback. Hendricks, you just look at him, you can tell he was an SEC defensive end, one of those top 100 recruits. So Pitt's real excited about that. They also have Rori Blair back, another inconsistent but a productive player throughout his career. As kind of like Price, when he gets sacks, he gets them in bunches. But he's a junior, local product. Actually, pretty wild story. He had a stroke in high school at age 18, but has bounced back and worked his way to this point. So Pitt has some defensive ends, so they're hoping to get after the quarterback a little bit more this season.
You got Shakir Soto, senior, another senior, and Tyriq Jarrett on the inside. Not a whole lot you can gather from stats for defensive tackles for the most part. Both guys in the 20s in regards to tackles. Jarrett did have 7 tackles for loss. They both had a couple sacks.
Yeah, Jarrett actually ended up being a second-team All-ACC last year. He's one of those more kind of a big space-eating, 335 pounds, just a big guy, a lot of experience. And what we saw last year is he kind of ran out of gas towards the end of the season. So, listening to him over the offseason, they were hoping he was hoping to be in better condition, ready for a 13-game schedule. And, that's the hope. You look at Shakir Soto, he's a senior, but he's played defensive end the past 3 years. He's bulked up. I think there was a story. He said he was just trying to put on weight to get ready to play defensive tackle. He was eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches anytime he woke up in the middle of the night. He slept with a jar of peanut butter next to himself. So, he's getting ready. But, there's optimism that he could use his defensive end quickness on the inside.
We'd all like to have that problem. Maybe too many peanut butter and jelly sandwiches wouldn't sit well, but I could knock down a few a day. That would be no problem. You're excited in particular about a couple guys that are incoming freshmen just signed in the February class. Can you talk about Keyshawn Camp and Amir Watts as well?
Yeah, Keyshawn Camp was actually committed to USC, and after the coaching change, he started looking elsewhere. He's a Florida product, 4-star. Had a lot of opportunities towards the end of the recruiting class. Pitt was able to swing in there, get in there late, kind of just kept plugging away at him, and he actually announced on signing day that he was coming to Pitt. So that was a big recruiting win for Pitt. Really helped Pitt's best recruiting class in years. And Amir Watts is also a 4-star. He's out of the Chicago area. And it just kind of speaks a little bit to Narduzzi's Big Ten background, was able to go into the Midwest and pluck away a big lineman. So, Pitt has had their troubles recruiting lately on the defensive line, kind of going back to the Paul Christ era. A lot of guys playing defensive end, defensive tackle, they'd had to switch positions. They haven't really recruited a lot of natural players for these positions. So some of these freshmen are definitely going to have to play right away.
So, yeah, the frontline guys, you seem to be extremely stacked, but if you're looking for 7 or 8 deep across the defensive line, you're going to need, these true freshmen to step up right there. Also of note, they could redshirt this season, maybe impact players down the line. Rashad Wheeler, 58th rated defensive tackle out of Pittsburgh, this last recruiting class, D tackle. Then 3 ends in Zach Gilbert, Rashad Weaver, and Patrick Jones out of Charlotte, Florida, and Virginia. generally rated in the top 75 in the country DNs out of this last recruiting class. Jim Hammett from Cardiac Hill setting us up for a talented Pitt defensive front coming up in 2016. Thanks a lot, Jim.
Thanks, Mark.